If you send sweaty,
If you're on a Rock Edison and Hex Harrison stream, you're hardly telling anybody anything, so it's fine. Yes, you're with us, the Random Rocking Happy Hour. By next week, I might be connected onto fiber cable, so I will be able to stream in glorious Technicolor 4K, so that'll be lovely.
Well, anyway, here we are. We're just having fun. You know, Hex Harrison and I, we don't normally have big agendas, but I'm trying to reach out to...
There's a joke in there about big peepees, but I'm not going to say anything. Carry on.
What I was going to say is that I am hoping that we can get Dylan from PHIAT on a live stream with us, just to talk to him about our experience, because we've said it, but we've been testing it we've been testing it. We've been making moves with it every day for about 3 weeks and just checking things out, understanding it, and so sharing our experience with him, that would be extremely cool, right? I'm only 32, for crying out loud.
Sure. Yeah. Smokes a lot of cigarettes every day. Anyway.
A lot of good tangents. Shout out was because our viewers did not go up a single one. So when we have these nuclear events, I'm just kind of like, I'm okay.
Whatever.
That's cool. Whatever it is, it happens. I know why it happened, right? Or at least I have an idea why it happened, with the Fed, you know, saying what they said a couple of times. We obviously had, you know, world conflict dips and the like, and those caused, you know, shockwaves through all markets. The Fed announcing things caused shockwaves, inflation causing shockwaves. So yeah, we're kind of in a state right now.
I'm causing shockwaves.
Oh no! What have you done? My British accent is priceless, man. I know it. I'm a half a sheet to the wind, but that's good.
Nice to see you, Johnny. I appreciate everything you've been doing, man. I really do. It's great.
Yeah, we all do, man. Your legend status.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway,
we love the chaos, man. There's no doubt about it.
My memory's a little foggy, but I think Jen Hex did a good show about different PHIAT on-ramps too. There's a couple different people who have explored this.
But if the major problem gate is the fiat into wallet or even into any crypto, right?
Well, the true underlying problem is I don't want to get my money out of crypto.
What if you sold a product and that product happened to a company with free hex? You should be able to give anybody whatever you want to give them. And if that person decides that they want to give you something back, it's really none of their business. That's the whole point of peer-to-peer. They should not be able to tell you who you can barter with and who you shouldn't. You know, it's ironic that, you know, cash is the thing that most crime is paid for with, because it's untraceable, you know. Blockchain is the worst possible way of sending your money without people knowing money is moved, because it's all
it comes with its own Excel sheet, doesn't it?
Yeah, so an Excel sheet that basically says, hey, this is where money moves, right here.
One of the things Richard Hart says is, you know, businesses cannot operate on this open ledger. They have to have a way to pay employees where people can't see all their transactions. There are a couple things
that's true. Before you start, Johnny, I'm going to interject this and then I'm going to just let you carry on. But my biggest concerns are not necessarily privacy. Now, it's private as long as nobody knows my address. That much is kind of true, right? Now, I'm not saying people can't find it out, but my difficulty is the smooth flow of fiat currency in and out of the system.
It's frustrating because they are making it difficult. Well, why are they making it difficult? Because it makes
competitors
obsolete. Plain and
Yeah,
simple.
because crypto is a direct competitor to the banks. They know it. They see the writing on the wall. Yes or no?
And you
And
cannot
yeah,
make yield in the banks. If you're looking at a CD, you're looking at 1% over 10 years. And people are like, well, you lock your money up for 10 years? Well, yeah. Yeah, I'll lock my money up for 10 years at 38%. Back in my parents' day, people didn't have debt.
Sure.
They would save and they would purchase things. Okay.
Yeah.
And we made debt very easy for people to obtain. Anybody can go get a credit card now, just about anybody. Even if it's a 30% and you only get $500 on it, money is easily handed out because we have changed to that digital currency. The bank is loaning you money that they do not even have, and then they
Mhm.
charge you interest on it. We need something where you can save your money and earn more money. And that is a hard thing for people to grasp. But once they get it, the rules are going to have to change. We wonder why crime gets bad. Here's a gun. The gun's $50. Go jack somebody else's stuff. Or you can do the right thing. Sign here. You owe us $150,000. And even if you go bankrupt, you still owe us $150,000. Thank you for doing the right thing and going to college.
Just as a caveat, we in the UK we use the same analogy, but with a knife instead of a gun. But yeah,
Knife
it's the
instead
same.
of gun. The system as it is forces people to do the wrong things instead of the right things because the wrong things are so vastly easier than doing the right things. And even if you do the right things, you're not rewarded for it. So this financial system that we have here with Hex rewards you for doing the right thing, which is to delay gratification and save over time. And you will have more. You know that you'll have more. The code is designed so that you will have more coins. What their market value isn't as irrelevant as the fact that you know that you have more of what you started with at the end. That incentivized behavior is very helpful because it shows people who didn't have a future that they have a future. They can look at their stake at the end of the night and go, there's more coins in there than I had to begin with. It's more than just saving. It's behavioral modification. It really is. And it's changed a lot of people's lives and the way that they think about things. And it's literally saved people from suicide. People that did not have things to look forward to can now at least look forward to the fact that they know that they have more coins. I tried to onboard this lady in the crypto, right? And she had her crypto.com app pulled up, and I was trying to get her to be able to switch her stuff over and everything and get herself some hacks. And she's looking at the phone and she goes, and buy crypto. $500. I'm like, what did you buy? She goes, I don't know. I bought crypto. This is really how people are. Why do you think they clicked the button and buy Doge? Because it was in front of their face. No other freaking reason. It was in front of their face. They liked the little dog picture. They heard somebody say Doge, 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 Doge 10,000 times. And they're like, yeah, Doge. Let me get some of that. It's the same damn thing that politicians do. Why do you think they stick their signs out in your front yard? Because even if you don't know who that politician is, when you're reading through that form, you see that name and you go, yeah, that sounds familiar. Check.
Anyway, Jonny Chaos, I have a question for you if you don't mind me asking. I'm not sure if I saw on your Twitter feed or your Twitter posts, did you come across with anything about Fiat at all? Or am I imagining it? Fiat, the platform, the protocol.
Yeah, so it's a fork of Aave.
Aave.
Yeah, it's a fork of Aave, and it's a leverage trading platform, which we
nope,
do not
I don't
encourage.
agree. I don't agree with that. Maybe Aave is, but Fiat isn't. Right now, it could be. But that's kind of the reason why I wanted to ask that question, because Hex Harrison and we've been testing that out on testnet for 3 weeks or so. I do see opportunities for it outside of that traditional short, long play leverage kind of thing. So I had to interject that, just so you know.
But it is in essence a leverage trading platform.
Okay.
Which I don't recommend people leverage trade. I didn't say not use the platform. In general do not like platforms in general because not your coins, not your crypto. Okay. If you are utilizing any sort of platform, you are taking a risk. Okay.
And that's what I wanted to get to. What do you think the risks of that are going to be?
Well, it's a website. It can be shut off at any point in time. And I'm not saying that it will be. Most things aren't. If they're not, if they're making money, why would they shut it off, right?
Is it not? Is it not just a front end to a decentralized contract? No. I might be seeing it wrong, which is why I'm talking to a bigger brain than mine.
So if you know what you're doing, you can interact with the contract through Etherscan.
Okay. So yeah, so it does it. So the front end is just the front end. The website is just a front end to interact with a contract on the chain, or a platform on the chain, or a piece of code on the chain. Is that what you think, Tin Top?
That's my cursory understanding of it.
Okay.
It lives on the chain. You can interact with it.
Do you move funds into the platform, or
yes, yes?
Move funds.
There is counterparty risk. Yes, there is counterparty risk.
Crypto. And what? So thanks for drilling into this, guys. But what would that counterparty risk be? Somebody's controlling my money. That's not me. Is that really the basics? Okay. That's what I wanted to kind of get to.
It's like a centralized exchange. Centralized exchange is not necessarily going to take your money, but they can, right? So it's. I'm just pointing out strengths and weaknesses. You know, it's not that I'm saying that anybody's doing anything malicious or there's something wrong with this particular code. I've not really dove into it, but I tend to stay away from platforms if I can in general.
Sure.
So I just don't really have that much of a personal interest in it. I do have a personal interest in it as far as when somebody is saying, you know, I'm going to short HEX, I would love to stuff that down their throat at that point and send them that direction because they're being malicious and ignorant, and they need to be taught a lesson. So yes, I would absolutely say, go ahead, go short it.
Well, let me clarify a couple of things. And Tin Top, by the way, I know that you have stuff to do. If anytime you want to bow out, just bow out, you know, and just say, "Hey, I got to go." That's fine. I don't want to keep you longer than you need to, but I do want to point out a few things. First thing is that I've reached out to the kind of the front man for the project, which his name's Dylan, and I'm going to attempt to do a live stream with him and share our experiences testing it, because we test it daily. We go in there daily on testnet and just make moves, right? So we have at least somewhat of a user experience on it. First off, everything right now on testnet, whether it's in PulseX farms or whatever, has APYs that are absolutely skewed and not real. We know that, right? You might earn 20,000 incentive tokens a day by, you know, putting liquidity into farms, right? But that's maybe not even real, because you don't know what those APYs are going to end up being once real money's at play. But one thing I noticed about Fiat, I never looked at Aave. I don't know anything about it. I just am experiencing this from Fiat on testnet. Now, they're saying they're limiting this to Richard Hart ecosystem tokens. Right now, there's obviously PulseX, HEX. There's Helgo, there's Hedron, right? And there's USD. I don't know. We're trying to sort that out. I've seen a few things about it, but I think it's a Hexagon developed token that ties into the ecosystem.
Interesting.
Helga
note.
Rand.
I did see that come up, and the guy that just recently dumped is holding a large amount of that Helga. So that is actually kind of interesting.
Well, I would say the thing that I know about Helgo is that I probably spent 5 minutes looking at it and said, nah, it's not for me. So I didn't look back at it. But anyway, so it's got this subset of tokens that you can use to interact with it. And it's got a deposit function and it's got a borrow function. It's got a collateralization level, and it's got, loan level. It's got APYs for depositing, and it's got APYs for borrowing, right? And those all kind of skew. Now, here's the thing. So what we have noticed is that we have found ways of using assets outside of that system, switching them into something, putting them in, depositing them, getting yield out of fiat from that token that might be at this APY compared to this APY for borrowing USDC or something else. So I do think, again, the APIs are skewed, and I hope you're following me on this, but it's going to be interesting to see what kind of hammer it is. I think there's potential there for it to give you options. And one of those options being, you and I talked about this, Johnny, the last time. How do I actually convert, hex yield into life finance stuff, right? I got to pay my electric bill, whatever it is. Well, I do see the potential for this system to be able to allow me to take, I've ended a stake, I've got the yield, now what do I do with it? Sell it on the market? No. But we have all of these different ways now, and this, I think, is potentially one of them, to take that yield, maybe even convert it into something else through PulseX, depositing it onto something like fiat, borrowing against it, but as long as my deposit yields are staying ahead of my loan percentage APYs, should be a fairly safe play. And again, I'm speculating. I don't know. It's going to depend on what those APIs actually look at on launch.
People are always going to use the borrow and leverage system, and they like these intricacies of all these type of financial systems that the legacy finance has created, and they're going to play games and do this stuff. But
is that going to wreck me by using it in the way I just described?
Anytime you've got counterparty risk, it depends on how these things are set up. The more complexity you add to something, the more point of failures that you have. I know that if I interact directly with the HEX contract, I'm going to have more HEX at the end of the day. Okay. I don't know if I send it to this wallet or that wallet and I put it on this exchange or that exchange, what's going to happen to it at that point. The closest you can be to the source of the money is the better than trying to route it through these multiple paths to try to earn yield. So, I mean, all of these things can work, but you've got the question of intent, and then you've got the physical points of failure that can be in the code. So I'm not downing anything or saying whatever. These things are intriguing. Liquidity farming is going to be intriguing for people. Liquidity farming is going to be able to be utilized in a way that it couldn't be on the Ethereum network as a result of the fact that the gas fees were raised and literally crippled that whole liquidity farming potential. And there are some things that are going to happen on PulseX that are just going to be absolutely phenomenal that people are not taking into consideration whatsoever. And part of that has to do with the fact that, people like to complain about the OA. The OA has a lot of power to set the bar, to literally set the bar and create environments where you can earn yield that are going to be quite safe as a result of providing enough liquidity to stabilize pools and ratios in a way that people did not imagine could be done, because their intent was always to extract value, and Richard's intent is to create the biggest, baddest thing you've ever did see. with the most.
Because you mentioned that in one of your previous tweets about having a hex pair and being able to. I remember you mentioned that in your previous tweet.
Yeah.
And
See,
could you explain that a little bit more?
so the OA can permalock stuff because they have more coins than everybody else. If you have 50% of the supply circulating, you've got a problem because you've got random actors that are earning interest that can move and shift things around. But if you own the majority of the supply, you can pretty much permalock anything anywhere you want because nobody has enough coins to change the equation of X times Y equals K. Nobody has enough coins to break that lock. So Hex could be 1-to-1 permalocked to where nobody has enough coins to break that bonding because only 10% are in circulation, and that's, well, actually, like what, 15% is in circulation and 10% of that at stake. So only 5% of the circulation exists. So it's absolutely impossible for people to trade enough coins to break that liquidity pair. Okay. Now, market price is a different thing. But to break the liquidity bonding of 1-to-1 ratio, you can't do it. Same with Pulse and Pulse X. That liquidity could be set 1-to-1. And that liquidity can be perma-bonded at 1-to-1. Here's where it gets interesting. When you add that money that is coming in, that pair is completely different. That pair becomes the pair that sets what everything's prices become in whatever that stable coin is. Okay. And then you have Hart's Law, and you've got all of these coins that are starting at fractions of a penny that can really only go up. And because of their liquidity bonding, all they can do is drag each other up stupidly. Also, creating a 1-to-1 ratio with a stable pool that you cannot move the peg creates a perfect stable environment for liquidity providers to not have impermanent loss and can continue to make yield to the tune of 3% in an environment where people are trading high volume, high numbers, dumping their bags. Who gets the money? The liquidity providers do, because they are now dumping their bags to the tune of hundreds of millions of coins at 3%. Those deflationary coins are being distributed to the liquidity providers. Secondly, what else does a 1-to-1 ratio do? It allows the OA to remove the people that are dumping their bags and removing them from power permanently because they are not selling their coins. They're only providing liquidity with them. So that takes coins out of circulation. So yes, this is way bigger than anybody thinks. And when you have an architect that is building things in such a way that cannot fail because of the things that people hate about Hex, because the things they hate about Richard, is exactly why it's going to succeed, because they don't understand how to build a product without value extraction. This is not value extraction. This is distribution in a way that has never been done before.
Jonny Chaos, they're dropping some truth bombs to us.
Yeah, Johnny. I mean, that's insight that at least I probably wouldn't think about without having this conversation.
Well, I can't prove that's what's going to happen, but that's exactly what I would do.
Oh, well, I trust you.
Fair enough.
Let's just say I trust your insight over mine, just because of the fact that your insight into this stuff and what you pick up from your history of live streams with Richard and the other people talking about is much different than mine, right?
Well, all you have to do is listen to what Richard's saying. What did he say? One, here's your clue. Clue number one. I don't want Hex cheap on any chain. How do you fix that? The OA can force parity. It can force parity because the market will adjust to the ratio. What is Hart's Law? What did he tell you? The bonding of two pairs and their liquidity track, right? What is he telling you? What has he been telling you all along? People are not picking it up, okay? Why did Unisocks go up to $40,000? Because they were bonded to something else that went up in price. Therefore, in result, you ended up with socks that are $40,000, even though those socks are not worth that $40,000, because you can trade them for a thing that is now worth $40,000 worth. That is what makes those socks worth that. What do you think happens to tokens that start at 100 or 100? Is it 1/10,000th of a dollar? 1/10,000th of a dollar. What do assets that start at 1/10,000th of a dollar do when they're liquidity bonded at their lowest possible point?
Answer.
What do you think?
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I'm pretending for our listeners.
No, see, the thing is, you can't really. It's hard to talk about this stuff because, first of all, I'm not writing the code. I'm not dropping in the liquidity. I know what the play should be, but I'm not in control of it. But, however, knowing that is the play, knowing what that can do, if the OA doesn't do it, whales will.
Okay. And there's the kicker.
There's the kicker.
The OA does it.
The OA could literally start out the pools at the ratios, and all the whales will come in. And because why? Because it's a stable pool for liquidity farming. There's no permanent loss. Okay. What are you going to lose? Yeah. You're going to lose a hex to gain a hex? What? You're going to get 2 hex over here and 1 hex over here? What are you going to lose with a hex to hex ratio? What are you going to lose with a pulse hex to pulse chain ratio 1-to-1? What are you going to lose? You're going to gain one or the other. You want them both. How are you going to lose?
Sure.
That's that. So, well, if that's set up the way that it is, obviously people are going to pour in and want to provide liquidity. Now, here is the detriment, because I look at all sides of things. Here's the detriment. You see, in a USD value pair with hex, okay. If the pool is too large, you can't have price movement. But if you're trying to bond 2 pairs together, a large pool that nobody can match creates permabonding.
Right.
But you
explain for the people at home. Explain permabonding. What do you mean by that? Permanent bonded together. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. You can't. You don't have enough coins to change the ratio.
Right.
No one has enough coins to change the ratio. So in order for the price to double, you have to like double or is it 4x? In order to 4x the price, you have to double the liquidity. So to change that bonding, if the liquidity starts out at 4x what anybody owns, it's impossible to change that pairing. Now, the US dollar value of that pairing can change if you have another pair that's in the US, but to change that pair, you can't. And what that does is that forces the market to arbitrage the prices to parity. Because if you're getting 1 hex over here and it's only 10 cents, and 1 hex over here and it's worth 20 cents, you're going to buy the 10-cent hex to move it over to the bridge to trade it for the other thing so that you can get double your value, right? So what it creates is it directs the market to buy the cheaper thing to trade it for the more expensive thing that balances the market. So that's why I've never been concerned, so people are like, where's the cheap hex? Now the cheap hex.
I agree with you there.
Exactly.
Johnny, I want to ask you this question about something.
You're breaking up there again.
Yeah, I know. So part of the reason why I have not been around is because I'm right now fighting with the Chinese firewall to get my started.
Yeah, that's Rock Edison behind the Chinese firewall.
I'm literally doing technical battle right now to make sure that it stays stable. But I'm going to ask this question. And do me a favor. Send.
He's literally like,
you said.
Send sweaty link.
We got to do something, Rock. Because
write your comment in the text box below, my friend, because you sound like Chewbacca on acid.
And now he's frozen.
I just told John earlier that I hadn't been with sorted out.
Is he typing in the comments or private comments? Let's see.
I'll send him a carrier pigeon for now. Jesus.
I'm gonna do it on the stream. Hang on.
You got a courier pigeon nearby.
I was gonna say. Oh man, the joys of international streaming. Anyway,
we weren't trying to interrupt you, Rock. We were not getting any of it.
You guys carry on.
Yeah, we're going to have to carry on because obviously we need a vocoder to work out what you're saying. But you sound like an 80s dance music hit.
Doesn't it just make you want to do a lot?
So, Johnny.
Yeah, dive in and save us, in top.
So one of Rock's questions was onboarding people in the U.S. I got a question for you because I've made a couple just to play around small HSI stakes that were 1 T-share out 15 years, out 10 years, and that sort of thing, just so I could list them on OpenSea or something like that and kind of help promote HEX, but any thoughts on doing a 1 T-share stake? Like everybody tells me that's such a mistake, but I figure it's a promotion, and people are going to see that on OpenSea, or it will have some kind of value. Whether that value is super extractable or not is debatable, but
I wouldn't go crazy on them. I think this is another market that allows you to get exposure to by how the NFT markets are going to work out. It's going to be interesting once Pulse X launches. So
the underlying question onboarding next new people is 1 T-share enough?
Well, we're getting an echo. Here.
Yeah, I think that's Rock Edison. He's just unplugged his headphones. I think that's what that is.
Yes. Oh shit! I forgot to
brother. You're feeding back into the stream.
Why are we getting an echo?
I think Rock Edison's Bluetooth headphones disconnected. But anyway.
Okay. And now we can't hear Rock at all. He appears to be moving.
Yeah, he's listening. So sorry, Tim. What were you saying?
So here. Well, hold on. Here's what happened. I went to go refresh my drink. I forgot to mute my mic before I left the room. At which point in time, my earbuds disconnected, played the sound through the speakers, and fed back in. It's happy
exactly
hour.
what I said.
It's happy hour. I'm sorry.
It's happy hour.
Well, you sound good now.
So what were you getting?
You sound perfect now. So that
Okay.
Carry on.
Okay, Johnny. I hope that this comes through. But so I'm trying to help figure out how I can help Hex Harrison pump his hex bags after launch. Now I'm theorizing. I'm speculating that it might be a good move for him to possibly take yield from an end stake, bridge it over after the bridge opens, and use that EHEX to purchase HEX, and maybe get a better ratio and pump his PHEX back.
PHEX back, yes.
I don't think
in
you're
that
get,
way.
I don't think you're going to get it. I think you're going to get it. What I think is you're going to get 1-to-1.
1-to-1.
Which
1-to-1.
What that
Okay.
means is it does not do you any good to sell your HEX and then bridge that US dollar over to buy PHEX. That's not going to work.
Right. Same thing.
So you think it's going to get to parity that quickly?
I think so.
Yeah, I agree.
I was watching Hot Pearl and Kool-Aid on the stream with the Aussie girls, Crypto, Tic Tac Crypto, and Class, I can't remember. But those girls, by the way, they got a great stream. It's very informative. They're searching for truth, and they're getting it. But anyway, Kool-Aid and Hot Pro were bouncing back and forth on that very thing. And Hot Pro said, look, they'll find parity. It may be down, it may be up. It may happen in the first few seconds. It may happen in a day or two. So that's why I'm asking Jonny Chaos. I'm getting a second opinion on that. And I think you're right.
I don't know where the price is going to be.
Yeah, but it's the parity.
What I'm
the
saying
ratio.
is the ratio
Yeah.
is what's going to matter the first day.
Right.
See, the first couple days, the ratio could be set. Parity would be a result of people trading back and forth, trying to get a better deal, which is what everyone's going to run around and do. And a lot of people are going to stupidly dump their HEX price, okay, in order to try to get a stable coin to move it over to buy PHEX because they think they're going to get. When do you
So
buy?
they're gonna. So you're saying they might sell EHEX,
Yeah.
try to move stablecoin over, or let it get it doubled. No, not get it doubled over. They'll try to move it over and go. What? Who would do that? Why?
They're going to screw themselves. It happens. Trust me.
Okay.
One of the theories I heard is stable coins are going to have be trading at slight premium over on Pulse Chain because a lot of people are going to want to dump their shit coins and just get out.
Yep.
And they will pay that premium just to leave, just to don't let the door hit you or the good Lord split you, kind of thing.
Yeah. And one of the other things that Richard would say, wouldn't you want to trade the coins with the most liquidity?
Yep.
How would he guarantee that certain coins would have the most liquidity on his new exchange? So the clues are there, guys. The clues are all there. They've been.
The clues are there with die and
I'm
hex.
not telling anybody anything that hasn't been kind of stated.
Right.
The only thing is I just kind of put the pieces together on what would be optimal. What would be the optimal play in order to secure the network, secure the ratios, and force parity as a result of creating those bonding pairs? And I didn't know that I even wanted to tell people this because it's like, hey, it's almost like, look, if you don't understand where this is heading, should I even say anything?
If you're on a Rock
You're gonna
Edison
do
and
the
Hex
thing.
Harrison stream, you're hardly telling anybody anything, so it's fine.
People that know already know, dude. You're not breaking any secrets, and the noobs aren't gonna partake.